Get regular weekly expert Elliott Wave and technical analysis of Ethereum at a grandfather rate never to be offered again. This rate is now available and it ends Wednesday at 10 AM Eastern Standard Time. Your subscription provides weekly analysis published every Tuesday with text, charts and video. Jack Frost prepares the report, supported by me, Lara Iriarty, CMT. Jack is enrolled in his level 1 for CMT and I have 16 years experience, 11 of which as a CMT. So for Ethereum you get both of us working together. Your grandfather rate will remain the same as long as your subscription remains active. Don't miss out on this excellent rate. Subscribe now. I look forward to seeing you in our membership area. Hello everybody, this is Lara with your daily analysis for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. I'm not giving you Elliott Wave analysis of Ethereum anymore, but you can get it from our website. It's via subscription, and so we're adding in Solana, Elliott Wave and Technical as of today. Bitcoin continues sideways. Let's have a look and see how strong yesterday's upward movement was. It's obviously got an increase in range and it's bouncing up from support at 60,700. It looks like we might be about to get at least an upward swing to resistance, and when price gets up to about 71,500 to 73,100, we'll see what ADX is saying at that point and how price behaves. Yesterday's upward session does come with a short-term increase in volume, but overall as price moves sideways, volume still declines. That's pretty common behavior for a consolidation, and that's what I expect Bitcoin's doing, consolidating within a larger upward trend. While price is consolidating, on balance volume is also consolidating between resistance and support. I'm going to add a new very short-term resistance line. It's got weak technical significance because it's only got the minimum required 2 anchor points you need to draw a line, but if we see a break above this short-term line, that'll be a short-term weak bullish signal. I'm doing that because these larger lines are diverging, and so the range is increasing, so it's going to take a while now before we get a signal from on-balance volume. ADX is declining. The DX lines have been whipsawing somewhat. There's no clear trend. The pullback has brought RSI down into neutral from overbought, where it exhibited bearish divergence. Same deal with money flow. It's now below 50. There's plenty of room for the larger upward trend to resume now. ATR is now flat as price moves sideways, so no longer declining, but it has flattened off substantially. Volatility has stepped out of the market for now. Given that there's no clear trend, the model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect overall a continuation of an upward swing toward resistance for price, and for stochastics to continue overall to reach overbought. If price reaches resistance and stochastics reaches overbought simultaneously, the upward swing may end there, but if at that point in time ADX indicates a trend, then I'll revert to the model of ADX, RSI and money flow, not the model of stochastics and support and resistance. I hope that makes sense. Ask me if it doesn't. If anything I say in these videos don't make sense, ask me. It gives ideas for things I can cover to be a little bit less boring. Ethereum's also moving sideways within a consolidation, support a little bit above 2720, resistance about 3,200. About these last 3 lows, there are bullish reversal patterns suggesting that these lows may be sustained. The last completed upward session for Ethereum does have push from volume, but most recent volume is pushing price lower on downward sessions. So I read the volume profile for both Bitcoin and Ethereum as bearish for the short term. Ethereum has a weak short-term consolidation for on-balance volume. Weak because the resistance line only has 2 tests and a bit of a slope. The support line has 3 tests and a shallow slope. If we see a break above resistance in the next session, that would be a weak bullish signal from Ethereum. ADX today is declining. There's no clear trend. With ADX declining, indicating no clear trend, and price really recently about support, the model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect perhaps the end of a downward swing here, with stochastics falling just a little short of oversold, price around about support, and now an upward swing for price to continue higher toward resistance and stochastics continue higher toward overbought, and let's see if they reach those areas simultaneously. The Elliott Wave count for XRP expects a third wave at primary degree. Within a third wave at cycle degree is in its relatively early stages. This expects an upward breakout from the huge consolidation that XRP has been in for years. I have an alternate Elliott Wave count that expects a huge triangle is unfolding on the monthly, but that also needs an upward breakout. That's the only way the Elliott Wave count with a triangle there makes sense. So either way, no matter what alternate I've tried to find for XRP for the long term, remains bullish. My target for primary 3, 29.01, is where primary 3 would reach 15.66 times the length of primary 1. That's not a Fibonacci ratio. That's how long primary 3 was to 1 within cycle wave 1. So that's this length of a large degree third wave before. That could happen again. This wave count sees intermediate 2 a complete combination, zigzag, X, flat completes the double, so a third wave at 3 large degrees is now expected to be in its early stages. Technicals for XRP at 2 is consolidating, support about 49 cents, resistance in a zone about 54-55 cents. We need to see a breakout above resistance or below support to have confidence in the next direction for price. It looks though for XRP a little bit more confident that the low of 13th of April may very well be sustained. For the short term, XRP's volume profile is a little bit more bullish than the others. We've got a decent push from volume for the 5th of May and now a little bit of an increase for the 13th of May. Overall, for most recent sessions, it is upward volume that is pushing price higher, not downward, and that's since the last low. On balance, volume for XRP also has a range. Let's wait for a signal. A breakout here will provide a signal. ADX today is increasing for XRP. It's telling us there's a short-term downward trend because the negative DX line is above the positive. This is short-term though. The larger picture for XRP does expect there is an upward trend, but this pullback could continue a bit lower according to ADX. But RSI reached oversold on the 13th of April. It doesn't tend to do that often, and when it does, it tends to be associated with lows that are sustained. So this is another reason why I think XRP may have a low in place. RSI oversold, a little bit of push from volume on more recent sessions, upward sessions, and a complete Elliott Wave structure at that low. The main Elliott Wave count for Solana will expect more downward movement, mostly because this has the best fit in terms of Elliott Wave. From the high of the March 18th, 2024, from this high to this low, this downward movement fits perfectly as a 5-wave impulse. This has the best fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 moves beyond the end of 3, a truncation is avoided. This could be wave A within a primary degree 4th wave. If this is a 5, that means the correction should be incomplete. Now we'd expect B and then another 5 down for C to complete a zigzag for a big correction, which we're labeling primary wave 4. I have a question mark about B. It could continue a bit higher, and if it does, it may not move beyond the start of A above 209.69606. This wave count expects C to move below the end of A to avoid a truncation and possibly to end a little bit closer to the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, the log function of it that is, at 114.76449. Alternatively, in trying to see what if the correction was over here, will it subdivide as a complete Elliott Wave structure? It will, but this doesn't have a good look at all. The problem here is the structure for primary 4 is labelled as a double combination with a zigzag for W, X, and an expanded flat for Y. The problem is X is brief and shallow. Double combinations are commonly, or it should look like, big sideways consolidations. This doesn't look like that. It's got a strong downward slope. This looks more like a zigzag, either complete or incomplete. But this will subdivide correctly, meeting Elliott Wave rules. It just doesn't have the right look, and that reduces the probability. In order for a combination to have the right look, X is usually deep and time consuming, and Y usually ends about the same level as W. It has, in this case, ended about the same level as W. But Y, the upper edge of Y, is so far below the upper edge of W, overall it has a downward slope, not having the right look. But I like to consider alternates. Not confident that Solana is always going to have really good looking Elliott Wave structures. It might not have enough volume. Really do need extremely high volume for good looking Elliott Wave structures. That's one reason why the gold cash market has pretty good looking Elliott Wave structures and reliable Fibonacci ratios. It's got huge volume. It's a truly global market. Bitcoin also has pretty huge volume, so pretty decent looking Elliott Wave structures with twists peculiar to Bitcoin. I digress. Two targets for the end of cycle wave 3. The first is for intermediate primary 5 to reach 4.158, the length of primary 3 at 935.669. That's a previous length of a previous 5th wave. That's where I got that ratio from. It's not a Fibonacci. I should probably change it to 4.236 actually. The second target for cycle 3 to reach 11.09, the length of cycle 1, there is a Fibonacci ratio at 2887. Just to note, this is 935.669 and this is 2887. Very quickly, technicals for Solana, it's moving sideways since I last gave you some analysis of this, so really no change for technicals. At the last low, there's a bullish piercing pattern that did have some push from volume, and back down here, there's a bullish engulfing pattern, so a couple of bullish candlestick patterns about lows, about support, about 118, does suggest we might have lows in place, at least for the short term. Resistance ahead at 168. The bullish piercing pattern had push from volume, but subsequent upward sessions saw declining volume as price moved higher, putting a little bit of doubt on whether or not that bullish piercing pattern identifies a sustainable low. Overall, price is moving sideways and volume continues to decline, Solana as well as within a consolidation. While price is within a consolidation, so is on-balance volume with a fairly reasonable downward slope, reducing the technical significance of this consolidation, but a break above resistance or below support would provide a signal nevertheless. ADX is slightly increasing today, telling us Solana may have a short-term downward trend. At the last low at that bullish piercing pattern, there is short-term single bullish divergence between price and RSI, but RSI didn't reach oversold, and this divergence is only single. It suggests that low may be held, but it is also possible we could see a lower low and further divergence develop. No corresponding divergence between price and money flow though. That's it for me today with your updates, and I hope everyone's having a lovely day.